Today in Public Eye News, the Salvation Army is looking for holiday bell ringers, and today is Veterans Day.
Later in the show, Megan Tarcia will have your weather, and Devontae Stein will be back to give you the sports update for the day. I'm Scott Minshaw.
I'm Devontae Stein, and welcome to another edition of Public Eye News. The vertical rocket launch site that is going to be located at the privately owned Granu Loma Farms land just beyond Buckrose Landing is putting some locals in fear of the damage it will do to the environment. Gene Bauman, who lives in a home on Buckrose Landing, said, quote, "Preserving Lake Superior is an opportunity that once we ignore that opportunity, we will never get it back," end quote. Michigan Aerospace Manufacturers Association Executive Director Gavin Brown has said in interviews that he himself is a Northern Michigan resident and understands how important preserving the environment is. Gavin Brown has come out and said that the launch site rockets won't be using solid rocket fuel on their rockets. Quote, "I don't think people understand we're going to be the first green spaceport because we are utilizing green technology, that the risk associated with this will be on a scale that is below and or as carbon neutral as possible. It's my goal to see if we can even be carbon negative," end quote. Canal View, Houghton County is a part of a small group of nursing facilities that has been recognized as a best nursing home for the 2020-2021 year by U.S. News and World Report. The nursing home achieved a rating of high performing, which is the highest possible rating. They achieved this rating in both short-term rehabilitation and long-term care. Kim Salimi, an administrator of the nursing home, said, quote, "We are excited to learn that we earned the Best Nursing Home Award in both categories this year. To earn these awards in the current climate truly demonstrates our dedication to quality and safety. As always, we thank the community for their support," end quote. The long-term ratings is based off of residents who need help with their daily needs, as well as information including vaccine rates and the success in preventing ER visits. The short-term rating is more based off of a consistent registered nurse staff and the success in preventing the patients from falling.
Governor Whitmer has officially requested the Michigan National Guard to be allowed to stay active in the fight against COVID-19. The governor sent a letter to President Donald Trump requesting the extension of Title 32, which gave her the authority to call the Guard into duty. Currently, the National Guard is doing things such as distributing food, administering a test, and handing out personal protective equipment. The governor hopes to be able to extend the Guard's help across the state until at least March 31st of 2021. According to the governor, the Guard's help is essential and necessary in order to safely fight COVID-19. As Thanksgiving approaches and the holiday season kicks into gear, the Salvation Army is beginning its yearly tradition of ringing bells outside of stores and public places in order to raise money for a great cause. The Marquette branch of the Salvation Army is in desperate need of bell ringers this year, as the COVID-19 pandemic has greatly increased the number of families in need of help during the holiday season. Doug Winters, the captain of the Marquette Salvation Army, expressed the need for bell ringers and explained how important of a role they serve for the group. If you would like to help out the Salvation Army, you can reach out to them on their website, salvationarmy.org/Marquette County.
Today is Veterans Day, and Governor Gretchen Whitmer is showing support in honoring the 600,000 veterans who live in Michigan, as well as the 20 million others who live in our country. In a press release, the governor said, quote, "Service members have been on the front lines fighting COVID-19, continuing a legacy of military service in Michigan that spans 180 years. These brave men and women are the pride of this great state," end quote. On Tuesday, the governor, along with several other directors, came together to announce the introduction of bipartisan legislation that will make current military personnel and veterans eligible for, quote, "license reciprocity," end quote, in the state of Michigan. The governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, went on social media live stream to ask his fellow residents to stay home to avoid the coronavirus. Wisconsin just recorded a new daily high for infections and deaths. Although the governor did allow businesses to allow employees to work, but to require masks and limit the number of people in a store or office. Despite his pleas, he has received little help. The courts in Wisconsin have already overturned some of his mandates, such as his stay-at-home order and an order limiting the gatherings of people in bars and restaurants. Next Monday, the Wisconsin Supreme Court is scheduled to listen to the governor's statewide mask mandate. After this break, we will have your national and international news. Stay tuned.
It is a mystery,
a kingdom
carved into cliffs,
a place of wealth and power,
the envy of the ancient world.
Nova investigates.
How were these facades carved?
What ancient technology transformed desert into an oasis? And why did its people suddenly vanish? Petra, Lost City of Stone, on Nova.
Tonight at 9.
Welcome back. Hurricane Ida has officially been downgraded to a tropical storm as the state of Florida prepares for the storm system to make a second landfall. The storm's current path will have it making landfall in the heavily populated Tampa Bay area. The storm has sustained winds of 70 miles per hour, but is expected to weaken as it continues towards land. Currently, no evacuation orders have been issued, but authorities are opening shelters and taking necessary safety precautions as the storm approaches. The National Weather Center is continuing to monitor the storm and will advise local authorities if any additional actions need to be taken. President-elect Joe Biden is spending the day at his workspace in Wilmington, Delaware, meeting with advisors working on the presidential transition. But the Biden camp is having to work on the transition alone because President Trump is not yet accepting the results of last week's election. Skylar Henry is at the White House with more details.
President Trump commemorated Veterans Day, laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. While President-elect Joe Biden took time out from working on the transition to attend a ceremony in Philadelphia.
In their memory and all those others who did not come home.
President Trump is still not recognizing Mr. Biden as the president-elect. The Trump campaign has filed a new lawsuit in Michigan with 234 pages of affidavits claiming voting irregularities. And Georgia's Secretary of State announced a full-hand recount of every vote to ensure the validity of the results.
This will help build confidence. It will be an audit, a recount, and a recanvass all at once.
President Trump's refusal to accept the outcome of the election means President-elect Joe Biden is not receiving daily intelligence briefings incoming presidents typically receive.
Access to classified information is useful, but I'm not in a position to make any decisions on those issues anyway. There's one, as I said, one president at a time.
Mr. Biden received calls from world leaders Tuesday, including British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and French President Emmanuel Macron.
I'm ready to congratulate you.
However, CBS News has confirmed the State Department is not assisting with those calls. And Secretary of State Mike Pompeo suggested Tuesday there may not be a Biden administration.
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
President-elect Biden said Republicans will eventually accept his presidency. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
With thousands already across the border, it is estimated up to 200,000 refugees could enter Sudan in hopes to flee the fighting that is going on in the Tigray region, located in northern Ethiopia. Communications with the Tigray area have been cut off. This comes a week after Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announced that the military would be on the offensive after an alleged attack. The Prime Minister also said there will be no negotiations until the regional government is arrested and their stock is destroyed. Sahad Mohammed Sahid, the humanitarian chief in Ethiopia, said, quote, "It looks like, unfortunately, this may not be something which we can be resolved by any party in a week or two. It looks like it's going to be a protracted conflict, which is a huge concern from the point of view of protection of civilians," end quote. As entomologists work on eradicating Asian giant hornets, also known as murder hornets, we take a look into their discovery of a hive. Allison Grande reports from King County, Washington.
That looks like a queen or a queen.
Entomologists showed off what they found as they cut the Asian giant hornet's nest out of the tree in Blaine.
It really seems like we got there just in the nick of time.
Finding more queens as they went.
Perfect.
Researchers took the section of tree back to Puyallup to cold storage where they opened it up, pumping it full of CO2 to make it too cold for the hornets inside to fly. They used chopsticks to pick through and found 76 queens still alive inside.
Everything that we found alive inside the nest, which would make sense, had likely emerged between the time we did our eradication and the time we did our examination.
The nest had the ability to produce about 200 queens. Just over 100 of them were still in their cells in the nest. The other 76, plus 3 found when they took the tree down, were put on ice to study.
There's no way for us to ever be certain whether or not we got them all.
If they had not found and eradicated the nest when they did, they say they'd be looking at the possibility of about 200 more nests. Right now, they think there are at least 3 nests in Whatcom County, and they'll keep trying to find them. But as it gets colder, it's harder for the hornets to fly around.
Should there be an active beehive attack, our chances are very good for finding another one. And certainly as people start going out hunting, they may stumble into one and let us know about it.
As for the name, murder hornet,
these are not going to hunt you down and murder you. If you walk into a nest, your life is probably in danger.
Stay tuned, because after this break, we'll be back with your weather and sports.
When I was in Vietnam, I told myself, if I ever make it out of here, I'm going back home and I'm staying there until the day I die. We know that a big percentage of the guys took their own lives, and a lot of us climbed back out.
Thursday at 3 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Megan Tarcia here with your weather. Behind me is a very chilly NMU campus as the warm temperatures have seemed to gone away finally. Looking ahead at our current conditions, it is partly cloudy with a temperature of 34 degrees. Our winds are west at 10 miles per hour and our barometric pressure is 29.91 inches and rising. Looking into tonight's conditions, it is clear skies with a low of 32 degrees. Winds are southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And tomorrow's conditions will be partly sunny with a high of 48, and our winds are southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Looking across the UP, starting in Sault Ste. Marie, it is 37 degrees. Manistique is 40 degrees. Escanaba is 34. Down in Menominee, 37. Iron Mountain, 38. Ironwood, 32. Up in Houghton, 31 degrees. And here in Marquette is 34 degrees. Looking ahead at our weekly conditions, starting with Friday, it'll be a high of 35 and a low of 25 with partly cloudy skies. Saturday is a high of 43 and a low of 38 with partly cloudy skies. And Sunday will be a high of 45 and a low of 29 with rain. Now going over to Devontae with our sports.
Thanks, Megan. Winless they stay as the now 0-9 Jets choked and lost their Monday Night Football game against the now 3-5 New England Patriots. The Jets came out hot and took an early 20-10 halftime lead, but then struggled to get anything going in the second half, with not putting up any points in the fourth quarter. Joe Flacco threw for 262 yards with 3 touchdowns for the Jets. Flacco found Brashard Perryman for 5 receptions, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Cam Newton for the Patriots threw for 274 yards and also had 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground. Patriots are looking ahead now at their Week 10 game against the 6-2 Baltimore Ravens. The Jets are now begging to pick up their first win of the season as they take on the 2-6 Los Angeles Chargers. Just maybe the Chargers can drop another close one to give the Jets that first victory Sunday of the year. Looking forward to some Thursday night football tomorrow night. The 5-3 Indianapolis Colts travel to take on the 6-2 Tennessee Titans. The Colts are looking to bounce back after a rough 24-10 loss against the Baltimore Ravens. The Colts had a 10-7 halftime lead but struggled on offense as they didn't put up any points in the second half of the game. While the Titans are looking to keep the momentum rolling as they come off of a 24-17 lead win against the Bears. While the game was within 1 score, it wasn't as close as it appears to be. The Titans shut out the overhyped Bears for the first 3 quarters and to go on allowing 2 scores in garbage time of the game. Now over to Scott for some more news.
Well, I have some sad news, Devontae. One of our favorite producers and friend, Caleb Rydell, is spending his last day with the Public Eye News crew today. While I only had the privilege of working with Caleb for 1 semester down here, my co-anchor Devontae spent a lot more time with him. Back to you, Devontae, to say some words about our friend Caleb.
From everyone down here at Public Eye News, we just wanted to say thank you to our producer, Caleb Rydell. While we are saddened to see you go, we only applaud your accomplishments and congratulate you on your graduation. Thank you, Caleb, and we hope you nothing but the best. And that's all the time we have for you today on Public Eye News. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you again tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.